Hello, everybody. I hope you hear me correctly. I will give you today a little lecture about our purpose and the subject we are trying to develop through Help TV, which is an idea of my and my partners in order to bring more knowledge to maximum people, so the idea to help. And today we will speak about the subject of help. What is help? Help actually is something that you can find everywhere. Let's say it's so pervasive that actually help is so everywhere, so in so much quantity that you don't see it anymore. Maybe you are a little bit conscious about this, but the consciousness you have about help maybe is not enough, which bring about a lot of stress into one's life. Not having the consciousness about all the help you are receiving. We're not using here words like a God, or maybe a good pointer would be universal intelligence. Something is very intelligent, and this something is helping you actually to breathe, to live. Something is helping you there. Something is handling all the functions of your body. But you are not giving it a lot of attention. Actually, these functions are, one can say automatic. Your heart beating, your kidney, everything is on automatic, but if one of these functions is not working, you have a big problem to resolve. A lot of stress we have is coming from a structure which we call the human mind. So the human mind is something very workable. You can use it for planning, for engineering. It's an important tool, but it's only a tool. Actually, many people are stressed because they are not aware enough about the quantity of help they are receiving every second, even before the birth moment. So before the birth, something that this intelligence help the structure of your body to be constructed. You wasn't stressed about it, but it was a very complicated, one can say, operation, like doing your eyes, doing your ears. All the structure, it needs a huge intelligence to be able to create a human body. Of course, with the years that are passing and the level of identification one can have, people are getting more and more with the years involved and identified with the fictitious thing that we call the ego, the personality. Person, it's coming from a Greek word which means masks. We are wearing masks. We are doctors, we are engineers, we are simple worker, secretary. And the human mind pushes us to be more and more identified with this fictitious sense of self. Who we really are is not a problem anymore. The help we are receiving every second of our existence start being something like a means to an end, something which is not important. So many people are living their life with a lot of stress, not being aware about the huge quantity of help they are receiving. And every second that is passing, like in a hypnotism, they are getting more and more and more identified with this factitious sense of self. They are becoming more identified with their jobs. And then what happens is that with the time that is passing, the stress is increasing. Why? Because the person has a human mind which has impulsions to survival, persisting in time as matter and energy, surviving. So one starts to be stressed because his human mind is doing some calculations about what would happen to him. For example, I would use some examples, very simple examples. If one is losing his job, see, Wall Street crash, stock options are gone, the boss left the company with all the money, and I can give you a lot of examples of how people are losing, which they call their money or properties. So a person that is afraid of losing his job, for example, his mind will send them some solution that are relatively related to survival. He's not losing his job, and maybe he won't lose it ever, or maybe in 10 or 20 years he will retire. I don't know. But the stress he has been in the present moment is a heavy stress. He's already miserable in the present moment when only his mind sending him some movies, you can say, just in order to avoid the fact that he's going to lose his job. And it's not enough because his mind continues sending him some movies, so to speak, of how he's going to be miserable. And in some cases, the stress is so big that the person has the impression that he's losing everything. Many people find a solution in order to stop this noise in their head, because all they know is the noise in their head. All they know in the condition of a human being is the human, and the being is totally forget. Although 99% of who you really are is the being, and the only moment you have been happy in life is when you were connected to being, like when you were a little kid. Now 99% of what is keeping your attention units is how to resolve problems that are related only to human. And the being is totally forget. Because you see, if help is very important, help also bring you the consciousness about all the things you are having. You are having every second a lot of help from this one, so to speak, universal intelligence. You're getting many things from the nature, your food, your oxygen from photosynthesis from trees, plants. Everything is there to help you, but if there are 100 things that help you, and then one thing that not helping you, like a letter you receive with a problem from the bank or I don't know what, you would leave the 100 things that help you to survive, which are coming from this being, the one being you can say, this universal intelligence, and you will put 100% or 99% of your attention on the one thing that is not working. And it's not enough. You would do it for weeks, years maybe. You would take drugs, you would drink alcohol in order to stop this noise. Because the problem on which you are putting your attention is very small, very, very small, comparing to all the good things you are getting every second. So, what is help to do with relinquish the stress from your life? Is there a relation between your level of consciousness about the things you are having from life every moment and the incapacity that you have because of the identification with, so to speak, the personality? Is there a relation between the two things? Actually, there's a very, very big relation between these two things. Because you see, when somebody is not grateful for what he have, is not conscious about what he have, he feels like he's in danger. Actually, when somebody is afraid of losing things, and maybe if he lose something, because life is done like this, there's duality. You cannot not lose. Say you came here to life, everybody knows that the form of his body one day would finish his job here. But being in a stress permanently about what would happen is because the awareness level go very low. But where, in which area the awareness level go very low? In which area? The consciousness about the real heaviness. And what is the real heaviness? The real heaviness is what you're receiving every second. Are you aware about what you're receiving every second? What is your consciousness level about it? If you are stressed all the time, you have the answer. Maybe it's a low level of consciousness. Maybe you're not. Your knowledge level in this area is very low. If the consciousness level about what you have and the gratefulness are a big part of the solution about how to relinquish stress from your life, why not to raise up the consciousness level about it just by listening to talks in the same area? I know very good lectures about this. I listened to many of them, and I'm giving also lectures about the subject. The idea to help people to raise up the consciousness level about the most important thing, which is helping people, is pushing in the same dynamic of, if you observe life, everything around you was created to help. The only reason a person can feel free and having less stress is by the fact that he's pushing in the main direction of life. If you look around you, everything is there to help something. The chair is there to help you to sit. The light is there to help you to see. Your body is functioning on automatic because something. I'm not pretending that I have the words to explain everything, but by observation, something is helping, something is pushing in this direction. And if you want to live with less stress, you cannot push against this impulsion, because this impulsion is more powerful than the human mind, more intelligent than the human mind. This impulsion is something we cannot explain with words. Very, very difficult to use words in order to explain something that is much bigger than this. But when you start understanding that helping is pushing in the same direction of this intelligence that is all around you. So we don't speaking about faith or about beliefs. This is not the subject. We are not a religions company. We are consultants that knows some laws of this universe. knows about how management is functioning related to these rules. And actually to do it very simple. If you have an idea to build a business or to run your business, and what you will do, the intention is to bring more good to a maximum form of life. The chance that your idea would work is much bigger because you are pushing in the same direction of this universal intelligence, which is all pervasive. Very difficult to see something that is too present. See that space here is everywhere. And there's some forms. See, there's forms and there's space. Usually you're not looking at the space. I'm just doing a little analogy. You're not looking at the space around you. You're putting your attention only on forms. This analogy is good because the essence of what you have around you is space. Everything around you is space. And there's form in space. So, if I'm speaking about the fact that you can put your attention on being, in order to reach this dimension of being, you could and you should put your attention on help. More you help, more you entering the realm of this intelligence that is there to provide you oxygen, gravity. That's all. It seems to be very simple, but we're using words, and words have their limits. So help the others, help yourself. It's one of the solutions to relinquish stress and anxiety from your life, by raising up your consciousness level about the real havingness you have, although the thing you receive. You will feel a little by little that the stress level is just going down and down and down. Remember, 99% of who you are is being, and 1% is mental creation. Use the mind, it's very good. But remember, it's only a tool, and don't identify yourself too much with fictitious sense of self. I hope, of course, that hearing this lecture would help you to reduce the stress that you have in the everyday life. And by listening to other lectures from other people, not only from me, it would be the occasion for you to enter the realm of being, having more space in your life, in business, in relations. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.